My name's Josh Richards. I'm an Adelaide-based cave diver, and I'm the founder of the Soggy Wombats cave exploration team.
I'm William Passos. I'm a Melbourne-based scuba diver, cave diver, and member of the Soggy Wombats team.
Awesome. Welcome to the stand, guys.
How's
the ADEX show going for you?
It's been good.
Very well, yep.
Presentation went really well yesterday. It's been great to catch up with folks and see all the exhibitions. It's been good.
Making a few new contacts and just promising conversations. That's been really interesting.
Yeah. And to be fair, I mean, I've only known this face as the Soggy Wombats, so it's nice to meet you in person.
Thank you.
There is 6 others. Like, we hide them away.
Yeah.
But there's 8
Just
of us.
wheel you out with a camera. Yeah.
Chloe's floating around here somewhere as well, but she's a little more camera shy.
Yes.
So.
It's been a couple of years since you've been on the podcast. Will, do you want to start us off and just give us a bit of an update on what's going on with the Soggy Wombats?
So we've been doing a little bit of exploration, known caves in Mount Gambier. We recently discovered a new tunnel in one of the very well-dived caves there. For the last, 40 or 20 years was the last big discovery in that cave. So we pushed a new tunnel and we've been surveying, mapping, photogrammetry, 3D modeling, all that stuff. So we can share that with the community, just information and safety, all that. That's our focus mainly.
So this is an addition to, I think the last time we spoke, it was the Engelbrecht East extension. Yep. So this is another one?
Yes, this is the third one.
3 years.
Yeah.
All right. A lot of catch up.
It really boils down to Will's photogrammetry. Like, Will's been doing extraordinary work capturing the actual shape of the cave, and analysing that data has allowed us to go, there's a dark spot there, there's a space that we haven't seen before. It shows up on a model that people might not see in person, and we then go and poke into it.
Yeah. A bit of mix. Josh has been very nice to me. The Engelbrecht was basically him trying to understand geology and fracture lines and where things go. Then at the same time, I would start playing with photogrammetry, and we decided to have a go on a real cave. We picked Biddy, which is a massive tunnel, 200 meters of tunnel, very wide, very easy to dive. There's a few offshoots that we knew. We scanned that as well. We scanned the whole cave, and we asked ourselves, if this is going anywhere, where would it be? And we couldn't find anything. There's a back tunnel on Medium Biddy that's very boring. No one really dived there. It goes nowhere. When I scanned that and we look at the photogrammetry, there was actually a hole in the photogrammetry model that the camera didn't get the back of the rock. So there was no end to that thing.
Yeah.
That on the model was a whole 300 by 600 mil, roughly. So we picked Josh pushing through the gap.
Shove the smallest idiot they could find and jam me up through the chimney. So.
And we found a surface lake there.
Yeah.
And then that got us to an extension of how many meters of line?
So we've doubled the length of Little Bitty. So Little Bitty was about 200 meters. It's now a bit over 400 as a result of that. There's some very complex diving back there. Like, it is squeezy and unpleasant, and it's wetsuits and sevens and all that sort of thing. But the photogrammetry that came out of it is stunning. Like, you can literally see the layers in the clay blocks where the sedimentations come in and lay different layers down. So the works
was really entertainment and enjoyed.
Yeah. And this is all thanks to the photogrammetry and your keen eye looking for dark spots.
We had a look together, but it was understanding what does the dark spots mean? What does the whole kind of photogrammetry model? Is it a real thing that's going to go somewhere or not? At Little Bitty was literally, there's a hole, let's go and check. There was nothing else telling us that that's the way to look for. Then we jump into Pines. Pines is a massive cave in Mount Gambier. It's a dual rated cave. So there's a lot of cave divers and advanced cave divers that have access to that. It's been dived for over 40 years, probably. 20 years ago was the last extension. A couple of crazy checks as they've been known.
Terry check who came across in 2005.
And just push through and found a new tunnel leading to a massive room that's called the Crazy Check Room. Pun intended. And we did the photogrammetry of the whole cave. And it's been a cave that not just us or a million people have been looking on. How can we extend that? Where does that go? And looking at the photogrammetry, we confirmed that there was only 3 points that could go. One was a very well tunnel. The Bunnings tunnel at the end of the tunnel was a massive collapse. At the Crazy Check, there's an offshoot that goes to a very silty, terrible area. And we just looking at the photogrammetry, we understood that was the same sort of rock and the same point of collapse. So we thought, probably not here. Again, the photogrammetry showed us a hole in the Crazy Check room. We did the same process. We got Josh, go there, mate. And he found flow.
Yeah.
And when we have flow, we know that things are happening there. And you can talk a little bit more. How was that thing?
Finding that was awesome. The initial phase was like, we've actually got water flow coming through this gap that we've identified from the photogrammetry. It was probably a dozen dives of going through that gap and then trying to navigate to your rock pile because it was an entrance to a rock pile. So getting through that was tricky. It turned out in the end, and we couldn't really do photogrammetry in there. It was too tight, too complex. We got our way through, found an area, and I actually found a lead where I was like, I think this is the way to go. But I couldn't find it. I couldn't find the actual point where it popped out into the major tunnel. I turned around and I was swimming back, and I actually shone the light against the wall and suddenly saw a shadow, like this unexpected shadow. And it was the light going behind a rock that was just sitting in the middle of this gap. Like it was literally just blocking this area. And I've looked at it and gone, there's tunnel behind that. We jammed a GoPro behind it, looked at the footage later on and went, that's phreatic tunnel. And it's, once we got through it, it drops straight down to 34 meters, opens up into this quite large, dark, kind of murky room. Didn't get too excited at that stage. We were like, cool, we found something. But then at the back of that room, jumps across and it opens up to this absolutely enormous tunnel, like this just running railway tunnel, huge tall walls, like super wide, crystalline white walls. Like it was just, so it was multiple stages, like get in here, find our way through here, get into this room that's not that great, to then go, oh, there's a little hole over there as well. Let's pop through and it blew out this massive tunnel. So in a single dive, there was about 100 meters line that went down because we just kept swimming. And got to another rock pile far end. And so the last dive that we did in there, we're poking around trying to do the same thing, find a way around the rock pile. There's still flow coming in. We know there's flow coming in from somewhere, which means there's tunnel driving that from somewhere. So,
so
a lot more work to do,
a lot more work to do. So initially, as Josh said, it was hard to scan. So he did a hand, and we got eventually the photogrammetry rig inside there. And we know that's very close to another cave that's across the road. It's just now, how do we tie them together? There will be a connection. There's flow coming. It's that cave extending somewhere else, or that cave connecting to the cave that will.
Or both.
Or both.
Suspicion is actually both.
Both will happen.
The singing nettle's very close. The singing nettle doesn't have any flow in it.
Yeah.
It's quite dark, but we're super close. And where the flow is coming from is actually pointing straight towards Tank Cave 2 kilometers away. So we're kind of like, maybe there's a big network in there that we've found from the opposite side. There's 8 kilometers of passage. Maybe we're finding the other 8 kilometers of passage from the other side. So, it's great.
Well, guys, I know we've only got a short time here, but let's get on the podcast, do a full-blown episode and catch up on a lot more details, shall we?
Yeah,
please.
Happy days. Just for now, though, if you could let us know what it feels like. I know you go down into these dirty, horrible holes, dark, dingy, coffee soup kind of places. But what does it feel like to you as a person once you get on the tank, on the gas, and underwater?
Yeah, for me, it's peace. I feel very calm when I'm underwater. When I'm with Josh, it's silty. It's messy. And it is a team. I'm really into photography, and that's why the photogrammetry came. And for me now, specifically to that cave, there's a very good memory of a friend that passed very recently. He was the one pushing me to start my cave diving training. And we lay a little bit of his line inside that cave. There's a dedicated area for him. His reel is there. So that cave is very special for me.
For me, it's the peace of flight as well. Yes, I tend to make a mess because I'm wiggling into different places, but there's a reassurance there. You're weightless. It's relatively quiet. There's no phones going off. There's no one that I need to talk to. If I am there with someone, it's because I'm there with mate that I trust who I know is right behind me to get me out if I do get myself in trouble. So
does it quieten down the comedic head?
A little bit, yeah. It's a focus. And especially the excitement of seeing something and going, no one's seen that before. That little moment of like your heart drops a little bit and you're like, holy crap, that's a hole that no one knows about. And you go down into it and you realize that it keeps going and it keeps going. And then, we've had a couple of experiences now where we're down somewhere and you go, this is exciting. And then you suddenly pop out through a restriction into these enormous rooms and you go, holy crap, there's no way someone's seen this. We are the first people to have seen this ever. So,
happy days. Loving your work, boys.
Thank
you.
Keep living the dream.
Always.
Thanks for having us.
The show, and let's talk soon.
Yep.
Thanks
for your time.
Cheers.